University Teachers Association of Ghana is calling on the Peace Council and other well-meaning bodies to intervene in the KNUST impasse following government's decision to not allow old members of the governing council to sit on the new one. The Kumasi chapter of UTAG at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, as well as other teacher unions, have this morning been addressing a news conference where they described as unlawful and undemocratic the demand on them by government to change their representatives on the council. Executive member of UTAG, Ochre Adai-Mensah, says it is against the Act and statutes establishing the university and will be a bad precedent if allowed.
It is creating in the minds of people of Ghana that UTAG and the sister unions or associations are holding the public to ransom by refusing to change their representation on the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Council. It may interest you to know that the representatives of UTAG, TEU, the alumni, and convocation, both professorial and non-professorial, have been duly elected through a laid-down process to represent their respective constituencies on council for a defined term. And just as Ghanaians vote a government into power for a fixed term and wait patiently to vote it out of office at the end of the term, should the electorate find it incompetent, so also do the unions or associations regarding their representatives to council as contained in Provision G of the KNUST Act 80, Section 7, Subsection 1. It is patently clear that government has no business meddling in the representation of UTAG or any other union or association on the University Council. This is what government is refusing to understand and appreciate, and consequently has created an erroneous impression that it can pick and choose who represents UTAG or any of the unions or associations on the council. We categorically state, without any iota of apology here, that by the very act and statutes of KNUST, the representation of the unions or associations on the council is not up for discussion with government. In the case of the recent disturbances at KNUST, rather than establishing whether indeed the grievances the students were espousing had ever come to the attention of council, government instead decided to put blame on the KNUST Governing Council in order to have an excuse to dissolve it, akin to giving a dog a bad name in order to hang it. Government has set the changing of the representatives of the unions or associations on council as a precondition for this is highly against the spirit of the mutual agreement between government and UTAG that devolved the resolution of the impasse to His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Chancellor of the University. We believe strongly that the Chancellor, Otumfuo, would not have accepted his mediation role if that precondition existed. The logical question is this new demand on the unions or associations to change their representatives on council an attempt to undermine the Otumfuo's mediation efforts? We state clearly one more time that our meeting with to resolve the impasse at the Ministry of Education on Monday, October 29, 2018, UTAG did not agree, and I repeat, did not agree that it or the other unions or associations would change their representatives on the council as part of the resolution process. This allegation by government therefore does not only constitute an untruth, but it also appears mischievous. Ladies and gentlemen, the government claims that the legally constituted University Council had to be dissolved because of its failure to anticipate and prevent the destructive demonstration by the students. Why did the same government then populate its own 7-member interim council with as many as 5 members of the old, supposedly failed and incompetent council? Indeed, if the destructive demonstration on campus was an indication of the failure of the governing council, shall we be justified then to conclude that this country in the recent past is an indication of the failure of the present government? We expect the Honorable Minister of Information, Mr. Kojo Nkrumah, to answer these questions. Ladies and gentlemen, who is creating the conditions that are making it difficult for KNUST to resume academic work? Is it UTAG or government? We leave the answer to the better judgment of Ghanaians. Certainly, it is not UTAG or any of the unions or associations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate that the representation of UTAG and the other unions or associations on the Council of KNUST is not up for discussion with government. The Act and statutes clearly state that responsibility lies within the ambit of UTAG and the other unions or associations, but not government. Therefore, government's demand that the unions or associations change their representatives is tantamount to meddling in the affairs of the unions or associations, which is unlawful and will set a bad historic precedent if allowed. UTAG KNUST would like to remind the present government that it was elected democratically in 2016. To whom much is given, much is expected. Yes, we expect government to exercise the same democratic inclination in allowing the unions or associations to choose their representatives on the council so that KNUST can move forward. We wish to take this opportunity to assure the general public that UTAG and the other unions are ready to restore all withdrawn services as soon as the governing council is duly inaugurated.
Our efforts to get responses from government have not been successful. But UTAG President Dr. Eric Opoku-Mensah has been appealing to the Peace Council to intervene on this matter.
I think that where we are is a very crucial moment. And we want to ask the Peace Council, Kali Bishop Conference, the Chief Imam, and all other well-meaning Ghanaians to speak on this matter, because the constitutional rights of the respective unions in our universities, KNUST, has been breached. And we don't want things to degenerate to a point where it cannot be salvaged. So this is the time. If they have anything to say or any intervention, this is it.
Are you curious about their salaries? Are you curious about
this stalemate to occur? And our children, our nephews, our nieces to be staying home in a very important university like this with international students, everything grinding to a halt, and such key stakeholders are in this country and they are not talking, I think their silence is deafening. So we are calling them not to speak if they really mean well for the life of this institution.
Well, government has been speaking. The Minister for Information, Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah, has been addressing a press conference. Joseph Akabley, my colleague, is there for us. Hello, Joseph.
Hello, Gifty.
Tell us what the Information Ministry has been saying about this.
So, Gifty, was actually a direct question that I posed to the Information Minister about whether they are aware of the concerns coming from UTAG and the various other unions that are supposed to make representations onto the KNUST's governing council. And his response was that they are actually aware of the press conference that was addressed earlier today by the KNUST's UTAG. But as far as government is concerned, and the briefing that he has got from the echelons of power, and government's position on the matter hasn't changed. And that position is that the various unions are to send fresh representatives to constitute the governing council. I asked a bit about whether the action in itself is legal, but he says the briefing that they have had is that that position that new representatives should be sent is what is the position. They will continue to engage UTAG, KU, and the other individuals who are supposed to make it on to the council. And if that position changes in any way, they will communicate that to the Ghanaian people.
Very well, Joseph Akabley there. Joseph, thank you very much for that update. Well, you've heard government's response. Government's position, they say, remains unchanged. The Accra Regional Police Command has partnered with Ghana Post GPS to build the capacity of accident investigators as well as prosecutors to have skills in the sketching of accident scene using the Ghana Post app. Speaking at a training course for accident investigators and the prosecutors, the commanding officer of the Accra Central MTCD, ACP Anderson Fosu Aka, said this has become necessary following the ever-increasing road accident and the innovative drive by the police service in technology.
The purpose of this course, it has two folds. The first one is to upgrade our investigators and prosecutors regarding accident investigation and prosecution of offenders. And the second aspect is that as a result of the investigation, it will determine the cause of accident, so that we can forward it to our headquarters and they take it to the policy makers to know some of the causes of accident. GPS, with the contemporary situation, you need to get the GPS of the accident scene. So after the introduction of sketching, then the accident investigator should be able to get the GPS of the location, so that in case there's any dispute, we can quickly refer to that. It will not be the thing that somebody may narrate, but it could be highly scientific for the investigator or anybody who petitioned the scene can also have access to the GPS.